Welcome to Inspire and Move, the show that inspires you to create, connect, and grow. I'm going to bring you meaningful conversations, aha moments, and all the motivation you need to up-level every part of your life. I'm Ali Aruda, founder of Inspire and Move, and your personal hype girl. I've gone from fashion school to celebrity stylist to corporate marketing to brick and mortar entrepreneurship with my husband, each time learning incredible lessons how to pivot, reimagine, and implement the steps to become successful. I'm passionate about inspiring others to live their best life, a life of joy. We have the power to design a life that we love, because life is too short not to. The best part is that you weren't meant to do this alone. If you feel like you are meant for more, let me ride shotgun with you, and together, let's get you to where you want to go. Hello, everyone. Oh my gosh, you are in for such a treat today because you get not one, but two podcast hosts in one. I am Ali Aruda, host of the Inspire and Move podcast, and
Anna Lozano, host of the Prosperity Playground podcast.
And Anna and I have known each other for over a decade, which we are going to dive in today because we realized even before we hit record that there's actually a lot of parallels in our entrepreneurial journey, which we're really excited to talk about. And I think this is fun to share that this is your second in-person podcast interview.
It's so amazing. I mean, I've been podcasting for years, but everything online. So this is so much more fun.
Isn't it so much more fun? Like with the production, makeup. We also happen to be wearing matching outfits. We're both having our matching glossy water bottles. So we're a real vibe other than being like, blonde and brunette. And you are much more tanned than I am. Definitely should have got a spray tan for this, but it's fine. I will just embrace my natural tone. We are so excited for today's conversation.
It's going to be so good.
Oh, okay, great. So I think we should start of how you and I both roll back time to our network marketing days.
Yes.
You started before me, I think.
So network marketing for me was gateway into entrepreneurship and personal development. This was 2010. What about you?
I was probably around the same time, maybe to 2012.
Okay.
And then I got into it more seriously as the years went on. It was very much just a little sprinkle on the side, something that I would kind of do in the mornings actually on my way. This would have been when Matt and I started dating and then living together. I would work in the car on our 1 hour commute to my day job in corporate.
Oh my gosh. Okay, same. So I was still corporate and I would work at Starbucks downtown Toronto, right King Street West. Mm-hmm. During lunch break, go down to Starbucks, work on my little side hobby business.
And then grew that.
Yeah.
I was also talking about this, ironically, with Matt this morning over our morning coffee, about how I feel so fulfilled in the career path that I had we were with the same product company, USANA, in the supplement and wellness industry. How I feel like I hit a ton of benchmarks that I set out to do. Yeah. I wanted to walk the stage and I wanted to be recognized. I wanted to earn a trip. I wanted to win competitions. And I had this moment this morning where I was like, damn, I actually did all of that.
It's insane. When I look at, I went to business school, then did network marketing. Network marketing literally was the business school in a box. It's here's your business. You get to have all the systems and structures in place, and you get to be the marketing and sales engine. And so the amount of skills that we learned, the amount of rejection, do you remember the amount of rejection that we got to experience and build that muscle? It really is an incredible playground for entrepreneurship, for sure.
I couldn't agree more. And I've always said, I love that you say business in a box. I say entrepreneurship with training wheels or business with training wheels, because your risk is low, your investment is low, depending on what company it might be, what it is to join the company, let alone probably you should invest in some products so you know what you're selling and taking and bringing people on into your world from a customer standpoint. But it is so low risk compared to, you have had a product business. Yes. I have a brick and mortar business. Guys, those are the expensive routes to go.
Those are the expensive businesses that you start, for sure. And so much more risk. So many more skills to be learned. When I transitioned from network marketing to Love Powered Co., I'm now the entire engine of the operation, whereas network marketing was just sales and marketing. Really,
oh my gosh,
being a brand ambassador of a product. Here, you're now the accountant. You got to do shipping and logistics, operations, sales, marketing, customer service, absolutely everything. And then, I don't know, brick and mortar. I've never owned a brick and mortar. I can only imagine.
Okay, well, we'll go there next. I want to go back to Love Powered because I have had so much fun in like the sidelines watching you, and well, I know you've now exited the business, but you had a business partner who, like, unlike me, was not your spouse. So
Yes.
I would love to know even like what that has looked like by building a business, how you even chose a business partner. How did you even choose that and came up with the name?
Such a good question. I've actually never ever been asked that. So I'm like, oh, I love this. I'm like, I feel like I've done hundreds of podcast interviews and no one ever asked that. It was incredible because my business partner and I, so the co-founder and I, we really joined forces with complementary skills. And so in terms of like business roles and responsibilities, we each fell into our own zone of genius. And then there was all the other things we had to learn, like the finances, shipping, marketing, etc. operations. But I was in my sales and marketing and collaborations role, and she was the creative. So it really was an amazing foundation of two founders with very complementary skills. It was so funny because when we came up with the name, so this was like 2016, we're having a play date, drinking wine in my basement floor in Oakville. Our little kids running around. Maya, I think, was 9 months old. She wasn't even walking. Can you believe that?
Oh
She
my
just turned
gosh.
10.
I was gonna say, didn't she just hit double digits?
She just turned 10. And we started brainstorming ideas, and like, we want to both launch a product. We want it to be intentional. We want it to be something around personal growth and affirmations. We had both been really deep into personal growth and mindset work. And first we were thinking about like a jewelry line for mother-daughters, but she's like, I have a son, so how is that going to work? This isn't really fair. And so then we started looking at, what's out there in the world of affirmations. And at that time, it was really like bright colors, nothing beautiful that we could find. Like, the aesthetic of this house. We wanted a product that you could just put on the coffee table.
It would sit there.
It would sit there. And once you opened it up, you would have the power of the words, the power of the affirmations. And so we started looking on Etsy. We started looking at Indigo. Nothing existed. And I don't remember the exact moment, but we said love powered. And then we go on GoDaddy. We're like, holy fuck, it exists.
Yes.
Like Love Powered Co. was available. We're like, oh my God, we go on Instagram, it's available. We're like, this is our sign. This is our company name. And this was that like when you're fully connected, when you're in flow, when things are just meant to be, this is the path of least resistance. This is when we talk about like ease and flow in business. These are the stories. These are the situations where like, well, this is meant to be. This is coming to life. Then it took 9 months from that moment to create the entire company and go to launch.
Oh my gosh. I remember so vividly watching you both create this and build this. And I feel like I actually even maybe remember an Instagram photo of the two of you in your co-founder's backyard, who also is in Burlington, Ontario. Like, I remember this and seeing and watching you. I remember the photos of you both like packing orders.
That first photo shoot was in Burlington, like right around this area.
And I was in one of your photo shoots.
You were in our photo shoots. Okay, now everything's coming back. Yes.
Yes. Okay. And so then we obviously have to talk about the mutual connection of who did the like creative design of your deck.
Of course.
Let's go there.
Rochelle, your bestie. So Rochelle, I don't know if you know this, but she has done every single brand that I have launched. She's been my girl. So with our network marketing business, we had a whole brand name. She did that branding and marketing.
Oh my God, I remember that.
Holistic Freedom Academy. She was behind the brand.
Yes.
That was our first, that's how we first got connected through you.
Oh my gosh, way back.
Then she did Love Powered Co.
Yep.
So she was the branding genius behind it. Then she created my personal branding. Then she created the Prosperity Playground branding. And now she is behind the branding of the new pickleball company that I'm launching.
Oh my gosh. I love that evolution. And that really speaks to just the power of even networking in terms of, okay, Rochelle's my best friend, but I remember that you had an ask. And so you had reached out to me. Yes. I connect you both. And the connection is one thing, but if the other person doesn't like follow through and actually do a great job with what they are a specialist in, then you wouldn't have the relationship and the longevity of working with Rochelle and her team through all these different iterations of who Anna is, but all of the businesses and brands that you have built.
Literally 17 years.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that crazy? So we've known each other. I know you said more than a decade. It's been 17-ish years. Oh, and same with Rochelle.
I was trying to round down.
Yes.
For our ages. Rochelle and I, as many people on Instagram know, I just surprised her in Sydney, Australia, which was iconic. And we were talking about that, like how many years we've known each other. And we were saying 15, but maybe it's a bit longer
I think it's a bit longer, babe.
Oh my gosh.
But
okay.
This is it. Like we talk about networking. And do you have a line 4 in your human design?
You know what? I'm actually not sure. I know I'm a
Okay,
manifesting generator, but I don't know much about the numbers.
Okay, we need to check on this because line 4, so I'm a 4-6. The 4 is the networker, the connector. And I feel like you have that
Probably.
in your profile, so we need to check on that.
Because I'm an Enneagram 3,
Okay, see, and I don't know much about that.
which is fascinating. I just learned that at the recent mastermind we were at. And I loved that iteration and that experience that was woven into the multi-day event because it's something that can be so helpful in being an entrepreneur. And, for Matt and I, we're husband and wife, let alone just who you are as a leader if you have a team or how you are connecting with your customers. You can learn so much. So now I'm all in. And it makes so much sense. I'm a 3, which is a high achiever, a connector, loves goals. I was like,
oh, really?
This is me. So you're probably a 3 too.
Okay, we need to check this. But it makes sense. And for me, it's always like, how can you operate and live more in alignment? And I feel like all of these tools allow us to understand ourselves more deeply. And it's interesting because when you find out, you're like, well, yeah, of course, this makes sense, which actually is saying like you've been living in alignment.
Yes.
Which I love.
Well, and that's been very much your path, especially as, you've transitioned from living in Oakville, Ontario to Kelowna to Mexico.
Yes.
And before we kind of get more to building and recreating a new brand, I want to know, what was the experience like when you and your co-founder had the conversation to sell? Or was it an opportunity that came your way and then you had the conversation? What did that exit process look like for you both?
So in 2016, when we were, creating the name, creating the product, creating the vision, we had 3 major goals. And one of those goals was to have an exit. So we both know, we had really young kids. We didn't know where our paths would leave us. So we said, how cool would it be to eventually have a company exit? So that was goal number 1. Goal number 2 was to be at Indigo across Canada. And goal number 3, big goals, was to have a partnership with Jillian Harris. And so what happened was
Smashed all of them.
Right? So when we had the collaboration with Jillian Harris launch, this was September 2021, we knew that was like goosebumps like this. We knew that was the time. If we're going to exit, we have to exit when this company has a lot of brand awareness, where there's momentum. We were just coming off COVID, right? When you had a product business in COVID, brick and mortar business in COVID, there's a lot of pivoting, a lot of shifting. And so we had this opportunity with Jillian come up a year after, and it was huge. We had 16,000 units. We created a brand new journal from scratch with her. So there was a lot of PR, a lot of marketing, a lot of visibility. So we said, if we're going to start the process of an exit, it has to be now. And that's what happened. We started the process.
And again, I remember this all so vividly. I swear I still have some of the collab pens upstairs in my office that I might have used them all, but I remember receiving them and just seeing that. And I think that even speaks to the power of intention and holding that alignment so close to your heart as that North Star of what are these decisions that we are making that are in alignment with goal 1, 2, and 3.
Yes. And if we tie in but not gripping so tightly that this has to happen, where you shift kind of from the intentionality and that beautiful alignment to lack force, make it happen. So I feel that's when we can disconnect energetically and literally the valve closes, shit stops flowing.
So what was that year in terms of was it multi-years in terms of you had that vision of what those goals were to then, having that collaboration and the product created to work alongside of Jillian Harris?
Yeah. So those 3 massive company goals were set at the very beginning. So we knew, so when we look at relationship building, this wasn't, hey, I reach out to Jillian and she says, yes, let's create a product together. As soon as we had our first deck, we sent it as a gift to Jillian Harris, right? So that was the beginning of building that relationship. I remember on her blog, I can't remember the date, but it was really early on, maybe 2018, when her son, who's Maya's age, was little, and she had the Love Powered Littles on her blog. And it was a whole feature of Love Powered Littles. Then when we launched the next product, we would ship it to her. We would see her at events, so it really was relationship building and also loving on her, activating the law of reciprocity. Okay, we're asking, we're gifting. How can we support you as a Canadian entrepreneur? So whether that was attending events, promoting her things on social, just really building relationships. I think that's a key piece here. It's it didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen with just that product. We're looking now at a 6-year relationship that was built. So when I did reach out and say, hey, we'd love to see if there's an opportunity to co-create a product together, she literally responded in 8 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. That's aligned manifestation.
Do you remember that feeling?
Absolutely.
What did you feel?
Oh my, well, like, look, it comes up again, goosebumps. Like for me, these are like God bumps. They come through. This is alignment. And I remember we had left Oakville. Yvonne and I and the kids are driving from Penticton to Kelowna, going to a kangaroo farm. And I remember like we were listening to something. I think Yvonne and I were chatting, and I like raised up my hands and I said, okay, God, if we're meant to collaborate with Jillian Harris, make it easy, make it fast, make it fun. And then I go pick up my phone, like this is all like guided, pick up my phone, guess her email address, send her an email. She responds within 8 minutes. And now, hindsight 2020, I think we were in the same area. I think we were passing where she lives.
Oh,
and it was this like intuitive hit that came through. And I know, like, our mutual friend Christina, who's always on your pod, is like woo adjacent. Like, I'm really fucking woo.
Yeah.
Like, I live this stuff.
I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, this is incredible. Hey, girlfriend, I want to tell you something I am genuinely so excited about because I'll be there and I want you to be there with me. On May 21st in Brooklyn, New York, I'm joining an incredible lineup of speakers at the $1 Million Personal Brand Workshop, hosted by Jess Williamson and designed for ambitious women who are ready to stop being the best kept secret in their industry and start building their empire. We're talking advanced positioning strategies, real conversations about how $1 million businesses are actually built, and in-room implementation so you leave with a real plan, not just a head full of inspiration. Only 200 women in the room. It's intimate, intentional, and powerful. Head to the details in my show notes to secure your ticket, and I can't freaking wait to see you in New York. When you were just talking about, the relationship building and law of reciprocity, I was thinking about something that I do talk a lot about on my show is deposits, like making endless deposits before you act on and request a withdrawal.
Okay, tell us more about that.
So really just like providing value. How can I support you? How can I share what Anna is working on? How can I share her podcast? Oh my gosh, I'm going to gift her book, like whatever it may be, that you are making these continuous deposits into the person with not a expectation of what you're looking for in return, that it is like genuinely and from a great place. And you're making all of these deposits. And then maybe, yes, eventually you're hosting an event and I want you to be my speaker. So then I'm going to play my hand for a withdrawal.
Love that. And I can see like it comes from this authentic space.
And people are smart, whether
You
it's,
can feel it.
from a relationship building standpoint or if it is, chatting on the social media front, people can smell out bullshit.
100%.
If someone's not being authentic.
Couldn't before. I think things have really shifted. I think we can feel it now. Like this bullshit meter, I think it's on high alert now.
Oh my gosh. Yes, people know. And I think consumers are very smart and savvy. So, going back to the love powered story, if you and your co-founder didn't have this like deep love for what it was that you wanted to create and the vision that you were holding, then going out and marketing it and creating content or speaking about it on podcasts, people would be able to sniff it out.
Totally.
If I didn't like moving, but I'm talking about like building a fitness brand and creating luxury gym spaces, but I didn't walk the talk, why would people want to connect with me?
No chance. No chance. So you've built a premium gym in Burlington. So for my listeners, I'd love to hear because you transitioned so you're an online entrepreneur, you now invest in a brick and mortar. Tell me a little bit about that journey.
Well, it was a passion play. So I have had a deep love and connection to movement for my whole life, like growing up as a dancer. But it was more so at the age of 18, I lost my brother unexpectedly by way of suicide. And he had battled bipolar disorder for 4 years. And I was getting ready to transition into this entirely new life of moving from Winnipeg to Toronto, going to university, figuring out that whole life path, making new friends, getting a part-time job. And in the preparation to move, I lose my brother. And 2 weeks later, I moved to Toronto and start this new chapter. And so movement became a connection piece for me because he was so passionate about movement during his 4 years of working through this struggle.
So movement was his outlet.
He became really committed to weight training and running. He did a bunch of incredible marathons. So I tried to adopt that in my grieving process of finding this new identity for myself and trudging forward of I worked really hard to get into this fashion program that only 100 people get into. I'm not going to forego it. I'm going to still move. I'm going to do the hard thing. which now, like, looking back at all that, this all makes sense.
Yes,
Being
always.
being an achiever and being someone that, like, there has to be a way through. I'm gonna figure it out.
Wow.
And it's amazing how, and I was saying this to one of my friends at the gym this morning, actually, how sometimes these pieces, like, I can speak about them out loud, and then at the same time, I was like, oh, that makes so much sense.
You see it, right? Like you've reached that growth moment. You're like, I can see it so clearly now.
And this is how I've operated
Yeah.
in all these different areas. So fast forward, Matt and I meet, we work in corporate, in the luxury automotive space. And at my core, I'm passionate about movement. And one day I would love to have like a gym or a studio. And Matt and I moved to Burlington. Now this is 10 plus years ago. We joined this nice gym that's close to the water. There's a great coffee shop around the corner that I know you love.
We both love.
And I'm like, oh, this is such a nice lifestyle. Well, okay, so now we're members there. And fast forward to 2018, the owner at the time comes up to us and says, I'm thinking of selling this gym, and you guys seem to really like it here, and you work out a lot. Are you interested in buying it?
Holy shit.
Exactly. I was like, with what money? How does somebody buy a gym?
Jim, you didn't. Wow. It was not even in your awareness.
Matt and I had chatted, like, this would be a fun 5-year plan. But thought we would go a more comfortable route of like, maybe we'd get like a franchise, like
I was
maybe
thinking
like
like
an
F45.
F45.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because I was coaching there. And
I remember.
Yes.
Yes.
So I had always wanted to be a personal trainer.
Yeah.
And so after Matt and I got married in 2017, I did my personal training certification, and then I started coaching. You want to talk commitment? I would coach at 5 and 6 a.m., come home, shower, put my corporate gear on, work on my network marketing business on my drive, my 1-hour commute while Matt drove.
Oh my gosh.
I would work all day in corporate and then drive home, go to the gym, and then have my evening at home.
Wow.
So that was my cycle.
Yeah.
So
It speaks a lot to your character.
Yeah.
You are deeply devoted and committed. And you've always been like this? This is something you built. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have doubled down through the world of personal development.
Yes.
And I think building the resilience piece from doing the work, just with, what I wanted to read and consume. Network marketing was great in terms of resilience. Yeah. My life experiences in terms of grief and loss, that has also made me a stronger, deeply committed individual. Yeah. And I think also having those experiences where I've recognized like, you got one shot here.
One shot.
So make it worth it.
Yes. And like, what are you deeply devoted and committed to? I think that's a big question, right? Because we can look around and be like, holy shit, this is actually a habit that is not serving that greater vision, that greater purpose. Mm-hmm. So choosing those things that you're deeply devoted to with so much intention.
And I think sometimes I totally agree with you. And I think sometimes also recognizing if you are a person like that, sometimes you also have to recognize when something's not working.
Yes.
And Matt and I we're not afraid to try things in our business. So now it'll be 7 years this June that we've had Benchmark.
Wow.
And even new listeners to my show, let alone your show, Matt and I bought the gym, just for everyone to have the context. We bought it in June of 2019. So this is where I like to have a dramatic pause.
Yes.
Because then
Take that in.
We rebranded with, no surprise, Rochelle.
With Rochelle. I remember the rebrand. I remember you showing snippets of it. And I was like, this is genius. It's really chic and sleek and classy, the black and the white. I was like, yeah, she nailed it.
Thank you. We really wanted to create a place and an experience that I would want. And that has come from like how I structure my events and the Benchmark experience. Like, what would I like? I would love a cold peppermint towel after a workout. That would be so nice. Yes. I would love a class like that I can connect with other people, but maybe have a glass of wine after. So we just create all these things.
Yeah.
And can you imagine if I decided to go down the route of a franchise, I wouldn't have that freedom and flexibility. No. So wanted to create what I wish existed. And I think that's a powerful play for a lot of people when it comes to building brands, building businesses. What do you want to create?
Yes. And all of it. I think that client experience is like, what experience did I want? Mm-hmm. I think that's always like a jackpot where it's like, if you can really live out the customer experience, that's when the best brands are created.
Yes. And being open, like I'm open for feedback. I am a words of affirmation girl. So I also really like compliments and kind feedback of like what people are loving, but being able to take it and then like reiterate with different ideas and experiences. But we got our asses kicked in those like years, 2020 to 2023. I lost my dad in that time, which was like for sure my rock bottom moment. But I do talk about that openly, where rock bottom moments, and I don't know if you've ever experienced any of these, but the good thing about rock bottom moments is that it's the lowest place you can be. And then you are going to have to claw your way up and out. It's not going to be pretty. It's going to be gritty. But I feel such a strong, resilient individual by being able to navigate this, like the shittiest time in my life.
This is it.
For my personal life, in terms of like my loss of my dad, who I was really, really close to, and going through this business chaos with no revenue, and but at the same time knowing that like failure is not an option. So we're going to figure this out. And then in 2023, we started investing in going to masterminds, getting back in person, and putting thousands of dollars on the line that we probably didn't really have to be throwing around, considering we had no revenue for about 2 consecutive years. And that's when everything started to change.
So what was that for? Like, how did you know that this was, because you had multiple options in front of you, right? How did you know that, okay, if we're going to do something different, it's going to be that. We're going to put ourselves in the right rooms. Like, how did you know that was the move?
It was investing in people that I had like loved learning from. So this first room was March of 2023. It was Chris Harder's 2-day roundtable mastermind. And it's crazy how some of these opportunities just like are a path forward. That some of our best friends are in that room. Some people, and like people that are now overlapped in both of our lives, our friend Christina, who we both invested in terms of like producing our podcasts. And your buyer for Love Powered Co. was also in that same room.
Oh, she was?
Yes.
Okay. I love that. I didn't know that actually.
Yeah. Fun fact.
We're both investors in Glow
Seed. Yes. It's really amazing to watch how things can unfold if you're open to it.
Yeah. And even if I think the one thing that I feel with you is you do hold this like deep faith, this like, I may not see 20 steps ahead, but this next one feels really good.
Absolutely.
And you take it.
And I'm not afraid.
Yeah.
That.
How are you not afraid though? Because if you're, especially when it looks at money and investing, it's like, okay, well, I don't maybe have all of this right now, but I'm just trusting that this is the investment I'm going to make. And I'm trusting it's on purpose. It's on path.
Oh yeah. Sometimes I just think about like, what do I really want? So I remember like for Glossy, for example, when we invested in the company, like I was investing in the person. I was like, oh, 100%. I love Lori Harder. I'm investing.
100%.
Yeah. How much do you want?
How much you want? Yeah.
Within reason.
Same. It was the same thing. And I don't know if it was through you, but somehow I found out that she's going for a raise. We had just sold Oakville. Real estate market was insane. We were on our way to BC. I'm like, great, I have play money. Where do I want to put some? And that just felt so natural. We hopped on a Zoom. I remember we were already in Penticton, like our first stop in BC. We're on the Zoom with Lori. I'm like, she's like, do you want to see this? That I'm like, no, like I'm in because I believe in you.
Yes.
Right.
And I think that's a big part of it too. And so even there have been moments where I'll just like play my card, I'll shoot my shot. And even like years back, I felt this knowing that I was like, I feel like there could be like a great opportunity to have this like nice friendship with Chris and Lori Harder. I just feel like we're really similar. And I remember just throwing out a message that Matt and I were going to Arizona for an event. So I just thought, I'm like, do you guys want to grab dinner? And I knew I had a 50-50 success rate. Like it's a yes or a no. And also like a no reply would be in the no category. But got a reply, made the plans, and had this 5-hour dinner.
Oh, amazing.
And I'm so glad I did.
Yeah. You guys are really good friends now.
Yes. And I think when you can see something, whether it's someone you want to be friends with or someone you want to be in business with or someone that you want to come to your business, whatever it may be, I think if you have that intention, and you can take clear action it might not be easy. Like you might have to just, go to their events or do this and be not afraid of like repeating yourself and taking that repetitive action, that it is super doable.
Totally. And I do have this faith that like whatever is meant to be literally always is. Like I say this now, I'm like, whatever is meant for me will not miss me. It
I
will
love that.
not skip me. And it gives me this peace of mind. Because, sometimes when we can't maybe see the very thing we want to see, or, it maybe seems farther ahead, whether it's a vision or a goal, like I'm just starting a startup again. And I'm like, okay, I do have 17-year experience, but when you're in startup mode in a completely new industry that you have zero experience in, like I can see the vision, I can hold the vision. I don't know every single step. I know maybe steps 1 to 5. Are they all going to work out? I don't fucking know. I'm like, let's just go.
But I think that's so important that you are relentless in terms of you have the vision and you know it's going to work out.
That faith and belief, yes. Because so when we sold Love Powered, those 3 years is when I lost that identity, right? It's like, I'm no longer this founder. I no longer have a co-founder. I no longer have a product business. Like, what is this next identity? Like, who am I? One thing that I devoted to was like, I'm not going to just do to do. I was like, my nervous system though had never felt so insanely unsafe when I wasn't doing. It was the craziest feeling, the craziest experience. And so when I slowed down and I stopped doing, I felt like I've never felt before. It was lack of safety in my nervous system, in my body, because that was the programming I'd always been doing. I'm a generator. I go, go, go. I make shit happen, right? So in that 3 years of actually not having the vision, not having a vision, was the hardest 3 years of my life. Because it's like when you know the type of women we are, it's like when we are moving towards something, even if the path is not clear, that vision is there. Not having a vision was the hardest part of my life. In terms of business.
I completely can respect that. And do you believe that even your vision can change?
So vision, so when I look at like Love Powered Vision, no kidding, it was a successful company. Like the vision really was to bring mindfulness to homes around the world. And we were really early on in the growth of the mindfulness, like goosebumps again, right?
Absolutely.
Like it was a really powerful vision and powerful intention. And it was that vision for 6 years. And so there were different steps, maybe we had a goal and that goal was not achieved and we had to pivot, obviously global pandemic could have never predicted that. So we had to do several pivots, but the vision was always the vision. So I'm not sure. I feel like the steps can change. I think we need to always reconnect back in with our vision. We can strengthen it. But I feel like if it's powerful, it is that North Star.
And I think it kind of even feeds into those gut feelings and how you make decisions. Those are things that I'm even embracing as we, gear on to year 7, and it's kind of almost like year 5, just because we lost so much time.
First 2 don't count.
Yeah, this is a dumpster fire, our first start of entrepreneurship, like more than like the average dumpster fire moments.
Totally.
But now I feel like we were having different conversations, and I'm actually trying to embrace a different identity as a business owner, a gym owner, and now being able to help other young entrepreneurs, or not doesn't even necessarily need to be young, which is other entrepreneurs that are earlier stage.
Yes.
Thank you so much for listening. If you loved this episode, it would mean so much to me if you took a few seconds and shared this on social media, sent it to a friend, or left a 5-star review. There is power in community, and I'm so grateful to have you part of mine.